92.5 Jacksonville.
Huge deal for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. Let's get through the money particulars first, because this is a massive deal, as you mentioned. The new highest paid quarterback in the NFL alongside Joe Burrow. 5 years, $275 million. That is the deal that the Jaguars and their former number one overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, agreed to.
Trevor looks. Moves to his left, still looking. Now he's going to run it to the 5, to the pylon. He dives. Touchdown. Trevor Lawrence dove for the pylon, and Jacksonville is in the end zone.
Trevor Lawrence has done everything he can to prove himself, not only being worth the number one overall selection, but being the franchise quarterback for the Jaguars. His payday was coming.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
There he is, Pockets. Got a fresh early start this morning, Tony, apparently. Wonder if he's worn out. Are you okay in there, Dylan? And did you make it?
I'll be good till noon.
Till noon. All right, that's all we require of you. You left your phone here last night, did I hear?
Yeah, I got home. I was like, where's my phone? It's at the radio station. I don't need it anyway. I got home at 10:30 at Compton and came here this morning. It's all right.
All right. Yeah, Dylan asked if I've ever left my phone here at work. Yeah, for about 30 minutes. I turned right around and came back and got it. I don't trust all you people with my phone. Not that, you know my code or anything like that. As far as I know, I just, I don't know, man. It's one of those things like an appendage. You got to have it with you at all times.
It's become one of those things, right?
It has, unfortunately. Well, if I'm on vacation, I can be without the phone. I really can. It's not that big a deal. Unless I'm checking a fantasy draft, I really don't care.
I'm with you.
What's going on in the world. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Tony Smith is here. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Doing well.
All right. I am doing well as well. And Trevor Lawrence speaks in about 13 minutes or so.
Yep.
So here's the plan. Today on Jaguars Today, listen closely, please, particularly if you are streaming on one of the 1010 XL apps, the 92.5 app. Maybe you're listening in on the YouTube virtual studio. All that is possible, but all that will go silent when we carry the Trevor press conference. We will carry it on the radio, broadcast, okay? But if you want to stream it, you do that exclusively at Jaguars.com. That's always been the case. So we appreciate our friends over there. We're going to piggyback on that feed, and we're going to bring it to you so you can hear Trevor live on 1010XL. So during that time, I'm sure we'll get a few, what happened to the signal? I'm telling you now, this is what's going to happen to the signal. It's going to disappear. We'll come back. We'll pop it back up. You'll be able to stream the rest of the show. We'll break down what he has to say and all that good stuff. You and I were just remarking on it, Tone, a minute ago. It's a little weird. You hear Ian Rappaport in that comment in the opening here, Tom Pelissero and others going, Trevor Lawrence, highest paid player in the National Football League. Is he really?
Yeah.
I mean, if this were 2026, okay.
Yeah.
If we fast forwarded that, everyone else froze their contracts, yeah, okay, in terms of new money average. But he's got 2 years remaining on his deal, his rookie deal, his last year of his rookie deal and the fifth-year option. And those are not $55 million a year seasons.
No, they are not.
So by the time, it's kind of a weird thing where I don't know if people are just trying to position it like, wow, the Jags made Trevor Lawrence the highest paid guy in the league. I can't believe they did that. Or I don't know what it is exactly, because I think it's a very team-friendly deal based on the market and where the quarterback market is headed, even higher than it is right now. But I keep hearing a highest paid player along with Joe Burrow. Well, he's not going to make $55 million this year.
Nope.
He's not going to be. He's going to be fine, right? We don't need to pass the cup.
Yeah.
Right? No GoFundMe necessary for Trevor Lawrence. So today's question of the day, we're going to ask you basically the opposite of what we did yesterday. Yesterday we asked for a breakout player on defense. Today, same thing on offense. Maybe it will be Trevor Lawrence. And I was asked by, in particular, our South American producer, Cristiano, do rookies qualify for this? Sure. If you think it's a big enough splash season, like Brian Thomas comes in and has a 10-touchdown season right out of the gates, that's a pretty big breakout for him right there.
Sure.
Of course, he'll have to compete with Denzel Mims for those touchdown aerials if he makes the team. It's funny, we were just talking about Mims yesterday as one of those guys who's like the all-airport team. He looks the part. He's super athletic, physically gifted.
Certainly, yeah.
Never happened for him in the NFL. Jets let him go. Jags picked him up. So he'll be signing with the Jags and will at least get a chance to compete to make the roster. I think that's an extreme long shot at this point in his career anyway.
Well, this will be his fourth team.
Right.
The Jets traded him to Detroit. Detroit dropped him. Pittsburgh picked him up. He was on the practice squad all last year. Pittsburgh dropped him. And
Pittsburgh
yeah,
Pittsburgh's the
now
most
he's
recent one
here,
who dropped him. Yeah, I just basically
he hadn't played in a couple of years.
It's been a while for Denzel Mims. Well, very athletic guy. That's the kind of guy you don't mind taking a chance on. Get him in your building. There's nothing wrong with that, but your expectations should be pretty low on that today. All right, so if you want to interact with the show, I'll throw it out there. You know how to do it, but you can hit us up on the phone lines designed by let me get this right. The phone lines, give it to me, Pockets, 641-1010 and the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. The text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, or at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
I just got to say it. You start, it's like one of those things, man, and once the words start coming out, okay, it just all flows out. But, all right, so Trevor Lawrence about 10 minutes away, so we're going to break right now so we can come back and tee this thing up so when he steps to the podium, you will not miss a word of your new multi-million-dollar quarterback and what he has to say about the direction that this franchise is headed in and what this obviously this extension means to him and his connection now to be here in Jacksonville for a long, long time. So let's break here. We'll come back. We're going to bring you live press conference coverage of Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Jaguars
Today
from the JOI studios at 1010XL.
I can get used to this winning thing.
Because winning is the best deodorant.
You smell like a winner.
1010XL. Get you some of that.
Today is the day to drive away in style with a brand new Cadillac Lyric from Rainy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville.
And you can lease a 2024 Cadillac Lyric for just $439 a month for 36 months with $4,889 due at signing.
We have over 60 Lyrics in stock. Choose your color and drive away today.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. Plus tax tag title, $899 admin fee and resist all. No security deposit required. Mileage charge of 25 cents per mile over 30,000 miles.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Make your outdoor living perfect with Art of Natural Stone. Pavers, patios, gravel, pool decks, and more. Using all natural stone design, and they do the installation. Visit Art of Natural Stone on Route 1 near Bartram Springs or on Beach Boulevard.
Hurricane season is here. Protect your property from parking lot floods with Duck Duck Rooter. Our VACCON team specializes in storm drain maintenance, keeping your property safe and secure. Schedule service now, 904-862-6769.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
What's spelled funny but smells great? A Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Kuhn Flowers. The name is synonymous with excellence for over 75 years. High Flying Jacko here for your next floral purchase. Call on Kuhn Flowers.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
This is Hayes Carline for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Spring has sprung. What a great time to get your house ready forever. Stop paying for exterior paint that doesn't protect your home or business. Rhino Shield's beautiful durable coating. Never chip, crack, or peel. By the way, they back it up with a 25-year warranty. No mold, no mildew, no algae. All while saving you thousands compared to the cost of repainting it. Right now, 0% financing, up to 25% off. Never been easier to paint your home with Rhino Shield. Book your free estimate today at rhinoshieldjacks.com.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty. A proud partner of the Jaguars. You can find Brackish Vodka in all the new flavors available at Golden Liquor off Atlantic and Kernan. Pick up a bottle today and drink like a local.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Pockets is monitoring for us Jaguars.com's feed for the Trevor Lawrence press conference. And again, when we pick that up here, and we're anticipating it's going to be in the next few minutes, if you're listening on the 1010XL app, the 92.5 app, if you're listening on the YouTube or watching and listening in the YouTube virtual studio, all that's going to go silent for the duration of the Trevor press conference. We invite you, streamers, to go over to Jaguars.com and listen to it right there, and then hop back on with us here for those who are just driving around town. It's old-fashioned, Tony. Yep. Radio. Over-the-air broadcast. We're still going to do that aspect of it. We're going to carry Trevor Lawrence so you can hear what he has to say. Let me guess. Very happy. Right? Mm-hmm. But in all seriousness, again, I feel like this has been with the exception of, we don't know exactly what went on behind the scenes with the Calvin Ridley stuff, that might they have franchise tagged him if they got a deal done with Josh Allen? Well, maybe so, but maybe then Ridley says, hey, look, if you tag me, I'm going to sign it. And that's going to –
yeah, we just don't know.
You're going to end up giving up that second-round pick, and we don't know. And it looked like they had a deal done. But outside of that, it seems like every major accomplishment that they set out to fulfill, they've been able to check that box. Now, whether that's been enough, time will tell. And again, I think the big question of the offseason is, what kind of state will the offensive line be in this year? And we just won't know that until we get into the regular season and we put these guys, in the pads full time and see if they can impose their will on some other teams, see if they can give Trevor better protection. Trevor can take advantage of that and play more efficient football, and he may be your breakout candidate, as a matter of fact, as far as today's question of the day goes. There are plenty of them. I think the one guy I think it'd be really hard to say would be a breakout candidate on offense is Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
After that 114-catch season, how's he going to break out from that?
Breakout would be something.
Maybe a dozen touchdowns. Maybe he could break out in the touchdown category, right? He's never been a massive touchdown scorer in his career, so I could see that being certainly something. But if you do go the Evan Ingram route, I'm assuming it's going to be more of how often he shows up in the red zone and ultimately catches the ball in the end zone, because it's going to be hard to top some of those other numbers that he put up last year. But whatever you think the case may be, could be ETN, could be Bigsby for that matter. Hard
Certainly,
to know.
yeah.
How do you define if the offensive line has a breakout season? Like
it's the production in the offense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if Anton Harrison made a Pro Bowl,
yeah,
I think you'd say, okay, he's recognized as making a big step forward kind of thing like that. So I suppose, it would be a little bit reliant on that kind of stuff to determine whether or not that breakout has occurred. You're right, though. Right. Did the pressure numbers go down? Did the rushing average increase? Did you impose your will in key situations? Things like that. Yeah. Definitely on the table. So all that's on the table for you today. So you can hit us up in your various forms at 641-1010 on the All Pro Roofing phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can always just reply to the tweet we send out every day with the Jaguars Today, Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day. If you're wondering, are they in stall mode right now? You're damn right we are, right? I mean, this is what we do in radio sometimes. We got a hard deadline, Tony. 10:15. Trevor Lawrence is going to speak. It is 10:16 and 20-plus seconds right now. So we, along with everybody else, eagerly anticipating for the press conference to get underway and Lawrence to just share his thoughts on how the whole process went down. How can you feel bad if you agree to a deal that by some metrics is one that makes you the highest paid guy in the league in new money average? I think Trev is going to lavish praise on the organization and the moves that they've made so far. And I think it'll be genuine. I think, I think this was a non-contentious kind of situation. I think he's pretty happy with the what the Jags have been able to accomplish to this point. Is it enough? Time will tell.
Yeah, I know Trevor Lawrence is there because they got the video of him walking in this morning to where they're going to be having the press conference right down there at the stadium. So I know he's in the building. We'll see when they get him up to the microphone, which should be momentarily.
Yeah, that link is live now, Pockets. You see that? All right, just checking to make sure you're good there.
Yeah. And I do think when we did the top 5 last week while you were out, it was top 5 favorite players currently on the team, right? And I had Trevor Lawrence at number 2 and Josh Allen at 1, and I said it's because I've seen Josh Allen do I'm here in Jacksonville to stay press conference time. Today we get to do the Trevor Lawrence is here to stay press conference time. I have a feeling here in about 20 minutes Trevor Lawrence is going to be my favorite player on the team currently.
You're so fickle, Tony. You just jump from one guy to the next. It's unbelievable. But, yeah, the link is live. And, again, if you're a streamer, Jaguars.com is going to be the place you're going to be able to hear this, the only place you're going to be able to hear this. And we will carry the on-air broadcast of that stream, but and then we'll pick back up on our various streams as soon as the press conference is done, and we'll wrap up with thoughts on what he has to say and take your calls and comments as well as I think it's a kind of it's kind of perfunctory. You got to have this press conference, but it's historical in a way as well.
Yeah,
man. I mean, this is by far the biggest contract ever given out by this organization, and it's on the heels of by far the biggest contract ever given out by this organization to Josh Allen. And you've got your 2 cornerstones now and, hopefully ready to live up to what the money indicates that they need to do.
Yeah, we heard Trevor being asked about the process of this offseason several times already. So we're kind of used to hearing him talk about the contract kind of abstractly, like I'm not distracted by it, ready to go. That's where my focus is, which we'll hear plenty of that today, I'm sure. But today you get the official, not just a release statement of, I'm glad to be here in Jacksonville. for a long time. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. These are my goals, the things I want to accomplish. Now all those kind of things become concrete because the contract's done. It's not just, hey, I hope I can do X, Y, and Z. This is it. It's time to start talking about I'm here for a long time. We don't have to think, will he be here for a long time?
Said it yesterday, Tone. I will be shocked if in 5 years we're not discussing what the next deal looks like for Trevor Lawrence, right? With 2 years left to go on the one he just signed, and let's lock him up until his mid-30s. Look, it's so difficult to know if a guy is going to spend the last year or two of his career somewhere else. You know, you heard Freddie T on the drill recently talking about how he almost kind of begged the organization to keep him around and, at a reduced rate, and they just, they try to do it as respectfully as possible, but the time had come for them to move on from Fred Taylor. So even a most beloved player like that, it doesn't always work out. Joe Montana didn't end his career with the San Francisco 49ers, and there are countless examples of that kind of stuff.
Manning with the Colts,
plenty.
It happens.
And there are other examples of where it does happen. Like, I can't imagine Patrick Mahomes playing for another organization other than the Kansas City Chiefs, but
not right now.
Who's to say, right? A decade down the road, if he wants to continue playing, and is he still playing at a very high level? So I think professional stall mode is really our kind of sweet spot right now as we're past the 20-minute mark after 10 o'clock. Again, the broadcast link is live up at Jaguars.com for you streamers to go follow along. And as you mentioned, Tony, Trevor Lawrence in the building. I'm sure he's getting to know Denzel Mims, trying to create some instant chemistry with him with a couple of passes out in the practice field. That part's a joke, but the Jags are bringing in Denzel Mims to kick the tires on at this point in time in the offseason. So, again, whoever you think is going to be the breakout player on offense is probably going to be directly tied to the success of Trevor Lawrence anyway this year. Certainly if it's going to be receiver, it's going to depend greatly on the play of Trevor Lawrence. But I think the same can be said even like if you think Travis Etienne's going to kick it into a higher gear this year. To have that threat of a well-rounded passing game is only going to make things easier for Etienne to pile up the yardage if he's able to.
Yeah. Look, and who knows what's going to happen with I've talked about this for a while with the Christian Kirk thing. I'm really looking forward to what it means for him to have true deep threats on the outside, and Kirk be able to do the things that I think are the strength of his game. Him playing in the slot, I think he's among the better players in the league in that position. So they have at least made some moves in this offseason, which it would appear would make it more easy for them to keep Kirk in those kind of spots where he can succeed at his absolute highest level. And I do think Trevor Lawrence is a good deep ball thrower, and they added a couple guys that look like they ought to be able to go deep.
Might be, like the strongest part of their arsenal at this stage of their careers, Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. I did see a piece yesterday. It's more of a fantasy football piece, but they're talking about kind of like, don't forget about these guys in 2024. And they highlighted Christian Kirk and talked about how not only has he lived up to his contract, but he's far exceeded the contract. And man, have times changed since he signed that deal. And the Jags are a joke, and they're blowing the market out. First of all, again, I don't care.
No.
If it makes it harder for some other team to sign their guy because the Jaguars gave a reasonable deal to Christian Kirk, as it turns out, an extremely reasonable deal, or if it makes it harder for the Miami Dolphins or the Green Bay Packers to work on exactly what the final tally is going to be on an extension because Trevor Lawrence got his money, good.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
No.
Whatsoever. So, again, awaiting Trevor Lawrence. We're about 8 minutes behind schedule at this point in time as he is going to speak with the gathered media down at the Jaguars practice facility and just weigh in on his thoughts on being a wealthy beyond all measure individual. But, more importantly, I think the direction that this franchise is trying to take this offseason, how much say he has had in that. And now, Tone, that he is going to be making at some point $55 million a year. How much say should he have? How involved in the process? I'm not saying you have to run every personnel decision by the guy, but I don't think it's a bad idea if this guy is truly the face of the franchise to include him in some major kind of strategic discussions about how we see this roster coming together.
Look, I still think he's a very young player going into year 4 of his career. So that those kind of things haven't exactly been put in place yet doesn't surprise me all that much. I certainly think once you are giving a guy a second contract, year 3 in the same offense, same head coach, there is some stability there around Trevor Lawrence, which wasn't there for the first 2 years, right? It was chaos year 1, had to change everything going into year 2. Now it's year 3 for him in this offense, second contract for him on top of that. I think certainly it is past time to get him more involved.
All right, Dylan, ready to go? What's the story?
Yes, sir.
All right,
So-
let's head down and listen in with Trevor Lawrence.
So it's
Trevor Lawrence. Nothing really groundbreaking, Tony, but let's do this. Let's pause, and we're glad we could bring that to you here on the airwaves, 1010 and 92.5 FM. And our streams will be back up here in a second if they're not already. And so when we come back after a quick timeout, we will dissect what we heard from the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you heard something that you'd like to weigh in on, good or bad, whatever the case may be, 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Trevor Lawrence's press conference wrapping up down at Everbank. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark back with commentary on that straight ahead on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios at 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I want more money.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word that you're saying.
Mornings.
Denied.
On 1010XL.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. What I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners. Always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems? Gun charges? Drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Light, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. Don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a godly example. Every day, we're setting an example in our words and actions. And many times, we can act one way in one setting and then totally different in another setting. My encouragement for you is to not send out mixed messages. God is depending on you to set the example in people's lives. You don't know, but you may be the only Bible that someone ever sees today.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Your Jaguars game day, your way. Whether you want to see a division rival like the Titans, an NFC North opponent like the Packers, or a mix, deciding on your favorite matchups has never been easier with Bundle at the Bank.
Touchdown, Travis Etienne!
Get tickets to 3 or more games starting at just $58 per game. It's as easy as pick, pay, and play. But seats are selling fast, so visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Let's go! Another night of excitement and fun with your Jacksonville Sharks is here. Join us this Saturday, June 22nd in the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena for some exciting football action as we battle the Massachusetts Pirates. Check out our awesome family packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift. For tickets, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And it's Star Wars night. The first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a free lightsaber. Are you with the Rebels?
Red 5, I'm going in.
Or the Stormtroopers? Get photos with your favorite characters. Hang out with a game for our autograph session and player jersey auction.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football and Star Wars night this Saturday, June 22nd at 7. For tickets, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700 or visit jacksharks.com.
Let's go! 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Well, okay, that's a good way to eat up a half hour, Tony, listening to Trevor Lawrence opine about how it feels to be filthy rich. Right?
Yep.
And look, in all seriousness, you got it. Those questions are going to get asked. There was nothing majorly groundbreaking. One of the things I did just take away from this is just the feeling of sitting here and running it back a few years ago in our mind to where this franchise was, to be in a place where Trevor Lawrence talks about, first of all, it's Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a guy who, was it like this fly-by-night, had a peak season in college, Blaine Gabbert did his way to the top of the draft, right? That you knew it from a long time that it was building towards him being something special, at least you hoped. Jags are in position through a certain set of circumstances to obtain the rights to Trevor Lawrence. They draft him. He's still only 24 years old. Has he been perfect? No, he is not. But you look back at that rookie season, is it better to have taken your lumps or to go the Patrick Mahomes route, who sat his rookie season? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have the chance to take lumps or didn't have wasn't put in the position to kind of do that. Now, maybe Mahomes has been Mahomes. I'm not saying Trevor is Mahomes at all. But, I don't worry about what he did as a rookie at this point in time. I think he, to me, has shown enough progress that I am beyond excited about the fact that this guy's not going to turn 25 until October, and that he's looking at this roster, and what he said is, at this point in the offseason, I think easily best roster we've had here in my time in Jacksonville. Now, you got to go out there and win, right? All this happy talk in the offseason, blah, 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 means nothing. But the moves you make in the offseason do mean something. You have to back it up with your play on the field, but unless you put yourself in position to have that kind of success and that kind of season, then, you're counting on guys to perform well above their expectation. He's saying, look, we got players here, man. I'm excited about this roster that we have, that we've been able to put in place. And I agree with him, And again, it doesn't all have to happen in 24. If the Jags make a deep playoff run, fantastic. But 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, all these years are under contract, and by that time it rolls around, he'll be on his third deal with the Jaguars.
Yeah, every player, every offseason talks about the team going into the year that way, right? Like, you're not going to talk about your team being a basement dweller in June. There's no reason to, right?
Sure.
But there aren't a whole lot of teams in Jaguars history where when they're talking this way about the team, I feel better about it than I have the previous few years. When they're talking, there haven't been many teams where I agree with him more than I do Trevor today.
Yeah, I think on paper it's pretty clear.
Right, about that kind of thing. And I had the thought when he was, speaking just a few minutes ago, one, I do want to laugh at everyone who said Trevor Lawrence will never be happy in Jacksonville. He'll never make the money he could have made in Jacksonville. The whole country will forget that he went here in Jacksonville, right, because this is where he's going, because the Jets blew it. Like, all these kind of different things. It's like, all right, how do you like me now? Like that's the way all that feels right now. And the other thing I thought about was, the more I think about it, the more I think I could have understood Trevor Lawrence refusing to play in Jacksonville when they hired Urban more than maybe any other quarterback in the position he was in my memory in the draft. Right? There have been other guys who have done that kind of thing. I think I could have understood him doing that kind of thing more than I would maybe any other player in that position, given how bad this franchise had been historically, how open to interpretation hiring Urban was in the first place.
That's being generous.
Right? Like, it was one of those things where you and I, when they hired him, were like, all right.
Vehemently.
Right.
Well, it was all right. Like, all right, I hope it works out for the best.
Yeah,
but
I'm not pulling against the guy, but I have no confidence that this is going to work.
I'm pulling against it happening.
Yeah.
But once it happens, it's like we said, like, we'll fire a GM mentally once they decide to move forward with him. We're going to hope for the best.
And, combining that with everyone saying no one's even going to know he's there in Jacksonville after he gets drafted there, he's going to completely disappear like he does from every NFL ad that gets run.
Right.
When they're running a league ad right now, like, Trevor Lawrence is
he's
a
all
star
over it. Right.
in the NFL, right? Like, he is a big deal. He was a big deal coming into the league. The whatever kind of detriment it is to go to Jacksonville hasn't hurt that for him at all. Right? He was going to be that wherever he went. He wound up here. He didn't play any of those games. And like I said, I just could have understood him doing that more than I would any other player in my lifetime being put in that kind of position.
Where's a market right now that, is not that thrilling? Maybe Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Was Cam a star? Cam Newton?
Yes.
He was a freaking star.
Yeah.
Right? MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Right? Number 1 overall pick. You bring that star power with you. It's not like these games are hidden. You don't, they're all available out there. So, yeah, I that did strike me a little bit as well as he stood up there. Like, the people, and it was a coping mechanism for Jets fans who realized that their team blew the opportunity.
For sure.
To have Trevor Lawrence. And they had to go down the Zach Wilson route, and they tried to cope and explain why, well, that's why it's going to be terrible for him there, and he's going to hate it, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And look, you want to talk about a poverty franchise. I don't care what market you're in. The Jets are a poverty franchise and have been basically for the entirety of my lifetime, okay? Every once in a while, they pop up. They make a run to an AFC title game. No more frequently than this Jaguar team has done, to be sure. And, yeah, okay, you got Aaron Rodgers for the short term. How's that going to work out? We'll see. But whose future would you rather have, the Jacksonville Jaguars or the New York Jets? It's not even a question.
Jags.
Right. I'm asking you almost rhetorically because anybody with any kind of football sense. Now, look, if the Jets win the Super Bowl this year, that changes the dynamic. That changes for any team.
Sure.
I don't think they're any more likely to do that than the Jacksonville Jaguars are, however, in the short term. And they don't have a long-term plan in place, with apologies to Jordan Travis. So let's take a break here because we had a very long segment listening to Trevor Lawrence. If you want to weigh in on anything you heard, we're going to play a few clips, not too many because we did play the entirety of that press conference, but continue to look at some of the angles there. And I want to get back, you mentioned Urban Meyer. There was an interesting piece done this week that included some thoughts on him and his tenure here in Jacksonville. And really, when you look at how the circumstances were so set up for failure for everybody here while he was here, including Trevor Lawrence. Not just Trevor. It's everybody else. The fact that they are where they're at right now going into his age 25 season is pretty remarkable. So 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines if you want to get in, or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know what? You want some yummy goodness? Dandy's got your back. They are first and foremost a local company that has been in business for over 65 years here on the First Coast and thriving. You know why? It's a great formula. Use quality ingredients. Don't overpromise. Over-deliver, and that's what they do. Keep the prices reasonable and keep just putting out quality products, and that's what Dandy is all about. Sandwiches, subs, classic line of both that they've gotten, all the other things in between, from the protein packs to the fruit cups and the veggie trays. But, man, how about a hot roast beef and provolone or an Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth? You know I love the classic tuna salad. They've got the all-white meat spicy buffalo chicken, the big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger. Whatever your taste, if you're looking for a meal on the go that is going to fill you up in a good way but not weigh you down, Dandy is the name to know all across Duval. So swing into a gate station when you're hungry and do what I do, and that's make yours a Dandy. And do it today.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville. Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
You have heard about the 1010XL YouTube channel. Now check out our team-specific channels, 1010XL Jaguars, 1010XL Gators, and 1010XL Seminoles, bringing up specific, up-to-the-minute video coverage of your favorite local team. And find us on YouTube today.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Save money while beautifying your home with Renewal by Andersen. With energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Their exclusive Fibrex product is chic, tough, easy to maintain, and twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. But restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing or septic issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to get the job done right. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hacker here coming in hot. I'm so freaking stoked right now I could do cartwheels. Well, maybe not cartwheels yet, but soon, after already shedding a jaw-dropping 70 pounds thanks to the miracle workers at Awaken 180. My doc just told me to forget the scalpel. I was scheduled this month for a procedure for a vein in my leg, but thanks to dropping the 70 pounds, I no longer needed it. He was impressed, to say the least. He hasn't ever seen a transformation like I'm having with Awaken 180. 180 weight loss. In reality, all that extra weight was dragging me down. Not just figuratively, but literally. The benefits of losing it have been nothing short of amazing. Yes, a weight loss program that works can actually be done. And most importantly, done easily. If weight's holding you back and you don't think there's a plan you can do, let me tell you, there is. 70 pounds in 3 months, guys. It's doable. So do it online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida State saw this year's campaign come to an end with a loss to number 1 ranked Tennessee Wednesday in the semifinals of the College World Series. The Seminoles saw a 26-win improvement from last season. The Volunteers advanced to the College World Series finals beginning Saturday. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero says Miami's Tua Tagovailoa will look to exceed the Trevor Lawrence extension.
Now you have to look at this if you're his agent and say 55's the floor, and we want to beat that because Trevor Lawrence statistically has not done what Tua has done over the past couple of years.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp lost a close one on the road to the Memphis Redbirds on Wednesday evening. The two teams will play again. Game time is 8:05. In Major League play, the Rays scored a victory over the Minnesota Twins, and the Marlins defeated the St. Louis Cardinals. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:03, it's 84 degrees. Time and Intent brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. Trevor Lawrence speaking extensively today. I don't know, again, if there's anything groundbreaking in the whole thing. I would have liked to have heard just a smidge more tone about, do you expect to be involved more in the process? Not in terms of like the leadership with your teammates, because that was asked about, will they, does this signify like, hey, this is the guy, we really have to get on board with whatever he's saying because the organization is obviously backing that. And his point was, look, I hope I'm earning that anyway by my play and the way I carry myself and my habits and all those things. But, is it – I'm not saying you have to go through a checklist with your franchise quarterback and go, hey, we're thinking about drafting so-and-so in round 2 and so-and-so in round 3. But just in terms of big picture organizational philosophy of where things are headed, I don't think there's any harm in including the guy that you have the biggest investment in and who you're going to be relying on the most to fulfill your vision in some of that decision-making process, even if it's just to make him feel included, to give that opinion.
Even if the extent of it is, how do you feel about this?
Right. It's not like you have bottom-line veto on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But,
and you'll ask him about more than one player, I would imagine. Like in a draft process thing, it's there may be 2 or 3 players you're thinking about.
What type guy fits what you feel you do best?
Right. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with where Trevor is, especially now in the organization. If you say, hey, can you watch, 10, 15 minutes of these couple of guys and let us know what you think? Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, does his skill set fit with what we're missing in the wide receiver core? Do you think that meshes well with your strengths, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and you might be doing that hoping that he's going to say the same thing you're thinking.
Exactly.
But that's fine, right? If that's the process, I have no problem with Trevor being to that level involved with whatever that's going to be.
I also have no problem. Like, if he's just that guy that says, look, man, it's not my area of expertise, even though, football is my area of expertise, but that doesn't mean I'm a scout. And it doesn't mean every player who played would make a great general manager and all that stuff. But
no, and he hadn't been around long enough to have a Randall Cobb, right? Like
his guy.
Right. Like he doesn't have that kind of thing because he hasn't been around enough of these guys to have that kind of thing.
We'll see when Christian Kirk's contract comes to an end. Because I feel like that might be that guy.
It certainly could be.
Right? And hey, let's do whatever we can to make sure
they have a productive Kirk, fine.
Right, exactly. Right. We're not going to – nobody's on scholarship here. Nobody's getting a free ride. But as long as he is productive and he is a safety blanket or a safety valve, whatever, for Trevor Lawrence, I don't have an issue with, again, shouldn't have final say over the 53-man roster. We're not suggesting that. Just being a little bit involved in the discussion is okay. All right, we wanted to play one cut out of this. And, again, we played the entirety of it. You can go back to Jaguars.com, listen at your leisure. But in terms of the decision to sign here, what made it attractive to lock yourself in for the long term? This was what Trevor Lawrence had to say.
You know, I love our head coach. Coach Peterson's done a great job. Press, our offensive coordinator, you know, the staff that we have in place, I feel really confident in the system. I feel like every year, you know, I've gotten better and better in this system, and I know this year is going to be a big year to keep improving. But I feel really confident in that. Like I said, just the overall team that we have, the leadership on the team as far as players, we have such a good group, and I think the group that a lot of the guys we brought in 2 years ago was their first year. You talk about like Evan and Christian, and I'm trying to think of who else was in that class. Those are the two guys on the Sheriff. Yeah, Sheriff was there. Foyer on the defensive side. All those guys, I could name a bunch more, that kind of felt like we started to build this thing from the ground up in 22, and then last year continued to grow, and then this year, like I said, the free agents and the draft that we got, I'm really excited about. I think this is definitely the best team that we've had here in my eyes, just at this point in the year from what I've seen. I feel very confident in that. So, yeah, I think all those things and the building blocks that we have and the, I guess, players that you build around, the type of leaders and the type of people, that's what I feel the most confidence in, really, is we have good people here, and I think that's important to having success.
I can kind of narrow down that answer to about 10 or 15 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. Doug Peterson, the system, and the players that we've added to build that system, right? I'm comfortable in the system.
Yeah.
Hard to overestimate how important that is, right? You come in here in your rookie year and you got a clueless jackass as the head coach, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, doesn't know how to run an NFL team, doesn't know how to deal with men. And the fact that didn't stunt Trevor Lawrence and everyone else's growth here in Jacksonville to an irretrievable degree is pretty amazing when you look back on what a crappy situation that he found himself in as a rookie. And now you got Doug Peterson. I mean, Doug Peterson, man, look, he and Coughlin, back-to-back winning seasons. Those are the guys, right? So if you do feel like you're a better team than last year should have been at least a 10-win team. Would you agree with me?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, now, certainly you got to win. You got to earn it on the field, so no one's going to give you that 10th win. But it was shocking that they were not able to get the double digits after the 8-3 start. So if you think they're about a 10-7 team last year, slight improvement from the year before, well, if this is the best roster that you've had, if you're going into year 3 in the same system, and you've added some key additions, and you are blossoming into the guy that can put your team on your shoulders for periods of time, this is a team that their expectations, look, I'm sure their expectation is to win every week, but you got to be an 11-12 win team, I think, kind of at a minimum, barring crazy set of circumstances. You can never predict injuries and what, if you have a rash of injuries in one position group and things like that, things happen, fluky things do happen. But if Trevor's right, and this is the best roster that they've had at this point in the offseason, and it's not just happy talk, then you got to look at this team's expectations to be in that kind of 12-5 range this year.
Yeah. Look, when we went through the schedule and got to pick them game by game, that's right around where I had them, right? In that 11 or 12 win range. That's what I expect out of this team this year. I think they're capable of being more than that going into this season. As we've talked about with the Houston thing in the AFC South, I don't think there is a big separation between Houston and Jacksonville going into the year. I just don't see that separation. I know Houston won the division last year. I know the Jags were 8-3. And the Jags really should have won the division last year.
Win any other game, and they're division champs.
Right. And I don't think with the additions that the Jags have made this offseason, Houston's gotten better this offseason too. I'm not trying to ignore that, right? But I don't think there's this big gap between Jacksonville and Houston in the AFC South. I expect the two of them to be very competitive all the way through the year, right? And that second matchup between those two teams really could determine who's going to wind up being the division champ this season when everything is said and done. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the Colts, but I don't think the Jags are going into this year, and it does feel like there is a national perspective of this Jaguars team that they're really a third or fourth place team in the AFC South. Like, that's the way they're being discussed right now. I don't see that.
They're taking a step back. Some of it's the Darius Williams thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, Darius Williams was so good last year, And what are they going to, like, I think they're overlooking or just give short attention to some of the additions that they've made. Eric Armstead is a massive addition to this football team.
Yes,
Not
he
only
is.
for what he's going to do, but what he's going to open up for other guys potentially. If Mitch Morse is who we think he is, that's a significant improvement on the offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we've been through all this. We can blah, 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 run our mouths until we keel over and die. You got to go out there and do it and prove it. All right, let's take a time out here. We're actually on time for once, but glad we could bring you that Trevor Lawrence press conference. If you want to weigh in on that or anything else Jag-related, 641-1010 on the All Pro Roofing phone lines. The question today presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Who will be the Jags' breakout player on offense in 2024? If you want to weigh in, you can certainly do that as well. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today Thursday, brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville. Jaguars Today. From the JOI Studios at 1010XL.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute.
Where the pros go. Ride home with a Franchi Show.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this.
Put some wings on your wheels. Afternoons on 1010XL.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
If you're ready to upgrade your home's backyard living appeal and just need some design inspiration, let the experts at Art of Natural Stone make your outdoor living perfect. Known for summer kitchens, gazebos, pavers, patios, and pool decks using all natural stone. All the custom elements you need for a first-class professional design, and they do installation. Open to the public on Phillips Highway and on Beach Boulevard. Find ideas online at artofnaturalstone.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods, and I'm proud to say that Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in the state of Florida. That's important because the American Gem Society promotes professionalism inside the business, and most important because of how it protects the customer. Gemstones are like most things, and you have to have the knowledge about them before you can tell the truth about them. That's where the American Gem Society fits in. They're the organization that certifies gemologists and registered jewelers and certifies sales associates with professional titles. Then, to ensure that we stay up to date with these gemological advances, we re-win our titles by passing a written test every year. And now I'm proud to say Underwoods has the largest credentialed American Gem Society staff east of the Mississippi River. So if you're interested in diamonds and jewelry and want real professional help, stop by Underwoods.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Pull up a chair at the table for some Saturday afternoon sports talk with Compton and Company.
So you want to talk about this or what?
Join Compton and Company noon to 2 Saturdays for more conversation about the teams you care about most.
I have questions, I need answers.
On 1010XL.
The coolest thing going on right now is the summer fan sale with 3 ways to save at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Browse their huge selection of high-quality fans to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Buy 1 fan, save 10%. Buy 2, save 15%. Buy 3 or more and save 20% off summer pricing on all fans. Visit their showroom near the avenues while inventory is still available and discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Hey, David here with Royal Pest Services. Men,
Are you struggling in the bedroom? Do spiders and roaches have you scared? Visit RoyalPestServices.com and let us help you get that man card back. Guaranteed results on our first visit.
Did you know DuckDuckRooter is the area's go-to plumber? A 5-star Google-rated company, DuckDuckRooter can take care of all of your plumbing repairs and upgrades. Need to switch from septic over to city sewer? Call the Duck. How about water heater repairs and replacement? You're just a duck away, or call away, for DuckDuckRooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at goosehead.com.
Let's go! Another night of excitement and fun with your Jacksonville Sharks is here. Join us this Saturday, June 22nd in the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena for some exciting football action as we battle the Massachusetts Pirates. Check out our awesome family packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift. For tickets, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And it's Star Wars night. The first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a free lightsaber. Are you with the Rebels?
Red 5, I'm going in.
Are the Stormtroopers? Get photos with your favorite characters. Hang out with a game for our autograph session and player jersey auction. Let's go! Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football and Star Wars night this Saturday, June 22nd at 7. For tickets, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700 or visit jacksharks.com.
Let's go. Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
All right, Jaguars Today rolling on. I saw our guy John Shipley out there from Jaguar Report highlight a piece at Pro Football Network that we're going to touch on here in a minute, Tony. Worst coaching hires of all time. And it's not just the one at the top because it's egregious, but it's the connection with 2 as well that really didn't give us the warm fuzzies when it came to Jaguar football. Anyway, we'll get to that coming up here shortly. Tony's going to take us around the league in a minute as well. 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines if you'd like to be a part of it, as our man Byron in Gainesville apparently would. Byron, good morning. Byron?
Hey, gentlemen.
Byron, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Glad we could shake you awake there, sir.
I'm sorry. I had with the
All right, you saved it a little bit there, Byron. Were you napping on us? What was going on there, bud?
I had walked in the house to get me a drink, guys.
All right.
I've been cutting grass.
There we go. What's the beverage of choice to quench your thirst this morning?
The Michelob of the NBA.
All right.
Starting a little early, guys.
Well, hey, you know what? You're entitled, Byron.
5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. So what can we do for you?
65, retired from the county and ex-Navy. So, yes, you know how we do it. Hey, guys, let me go. My pick is going to be Tank Bigsby because I was the one that really was glad we drafted him last year. So don't blame Bulky. I'm the idiot, too. And, guys, I want to say this. SEC was so tough, and I hated him when he played with Mississippi for being a Gator fan. And shout out to ACC and SEC, if you know what I mean. 2 great conferences, the best in the world. And but, yeah, I think Tank's going to be a breakout player. And guys, I just want to say that last year was a disaster. Not last year, but the year with Irvin was here was a disaster. I didn't want to mention his name, but I'm a shout out. He's one of my favorite coaches. And I think Trevor did have a mulligan year that year. And the guy's been doing pretty good. And I just wanted to mention 2017 was the year I think I had the most, just thinking we could do it with Campbell and Ramsey. And I think this year for me and the job, and I've been calling you guys for 3 years or 4. Tony, you and Mike, I love you, family, and I hope Shaw adopt you so we can get some money. But no, but guys, I think this is our best chance to repeat that year, or maybe go to the, conference playoffs or even, just get in there. So I know don't let money get in the way, guys. NBA is way worse if you want to get into that. So, yes. Go Jags!
All right, thank you, Byron. We appreciate. Look, here's the one difference to me. 2017, yeah, super exciting, super talented team.
Yep.
Deep. A lot of ways they could beat you. Okay. Was it ever going to be that sustainable? Because you didn't have the right quarterback, right? So maybe you could have a window of maybe they could have stretched it out a little bit further than they did. But with the management of the salary cap, the pillars in place on offense and defense under contract for the long term here, Tony, I think that's the massive difference here, is that it is likely more sustainable than it has been in a couple of decades here in Jacksonville to have the chance to reach a level of success and stay there for a while.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot on the show yesterday, but I don't think it can be overstated that they're paying the right guys and they're paying them in the right order right now. And it felt like going into 2018, they get Blake that extension. They didn't have to. They chose to get Blake that extension, and the ripple effects of that in that locker room were basically all negative. Like, it wasn't a locker room with a bunch of guys going, yeah, our guy got it, right? That's how it feels right now. Trevor gets paid, Josh Allen gets paid, and the locker room's going to go, well, yeah.
Put that aside. The way certain players on that team looked at Calais Campbell.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine what we know about Calais, right?
Yep.
NFL Man of the Year, tremendously hard worker, tremendously productive, high-character guy, that there would be anybody that would look at Calais Campbell on this roster in any kind of way other than, damn, I want to learn from that guy.
No,
but, company man. That's the nice way of putting it. A lot worse things were said about Calais Campbell by certain members of that locker room because, we want to get ours. Calais is all about ours is a collective.
Yep.
And Calais got paid. He had money, and I get that.
And he was always pulling for his guys. He didn't care who got paid when.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was looked at like, goody-goody. There are a lot of phrases. There were some horrible things, horrible words that were said about Calais Campbell by his own teammates, which just goes to show you the kind of questionable character some of those guys had to have had because, Calais Campbell is almost beyond reproach as an NFL man and player. I know nobody that has a legitimate gripe and saying this guy never didn't do this the right way in his career. He's done everything the right way his entire career. By the way, Byron, Tank Bigsby, Auburn, okay? Like, hey, Mr. SEC, okay? In Mississippi State, it's Auburn, all right?
Yeah.
So, Tony, why don't you give us a quick look about what's going on around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
San Francisco tight end George Kittle told Bussin' with the Boys on their podcast this week that he lost 30 pounds this offseason after undergoing a core muscle surgery, an injury that he played through late in the season last year through the Super Bowl. Kittle said that he has put 20 of those pounds back on since being able to get back into a workout routine, but still says that he needs to put on about 10 more pounds to get back to his 250-pound playing weight from last year. Philadelphia wide receiver A.J. Brown took to X to talk to his fellow wide receivers around the league, saying, "What's up, wideouts? The tight ends get together for a weekend. The DBs link up. The pass rushers even get together. Come on, guys. We can't be too big time to link up and team. I'm a fan of everyone and willing to work with whoever. Let's make it happen, wideouts." End quote. Will anything get done among the wideouts similar to what the tight ends, DBs, and pass rushers do? Only time will tell on that.
Yeah, look, if I'm a guy who's not a Kelsey or Kittle or a handful of other Mark Andrews level tight end, I want to go take part in that. But and wideouts are, you want to talk about the most ego-driven position maybe in sports, right? And do I really think that these guys are going to get together and share the trade secrets? I don't know. Maybe they will, man.
Yeah, I saw Tyreek Hill, I think, reacted
he did say,
to it.
like, let's go, bro, or something like that, whatever. And I think Tyreek.
As long as Tyreek doesn't have to play DB for any of that, he should be all right. Have you seen the videos of him doing that?
No.
Oh, my gosh. He's a really bad corner.
Okay.
Like a really.
Getting roasted by
teenagers.
Okay.
Will spin him around when he's playing corner. Like, it's crazy.
It's
knowing how good an
skill set,
athlete
though.
he
Sure.
is
Yeah.
and watching, like, 15-year-old, 16-year-old guys that just make him, like, almost put him on the ground. It's crazy to watch.
It kind of goes to show you, though, right, that,
Yeah.
like, no matter how good you are and how accomplished you are at the NFL level, if
it's a skill
teenage
set.
receiver can do that to an athlete like Tyreek Hill trying to play that position, what do you think a guy like Tyreek Hill, who that is his position by trade, can do to those players?
Absolutely.
All right, so this piece over at Pro Football Network, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. It's called Worst Coaching Hires in NFL History. I'm going to skip, I guess I could do the countdown, but I'm going to skip ahead. Okay, number 1, worst coaching hire in the history of the National Football League, in the history of the NFL. Never a worst coaching hire. Number 1, numero uno. Should be called number 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Urban Miller, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
2021, Urban had been out of coaching for 3 years, had 0 NFL experience when the Jags hired him. While he was a 3-time NCAA champion, his collegiate accomplishments couldn't prevent him from posting the worst coaching tenure in NFL history. Difficult to know where to begin. Was fired before the end of his first year, having won 2 of 13 games. Hired Chris Doyle, who had been fired from the University of Iowa after allegations of racial discrimination, forced out in Jacksonville shortly after that. Signed Tim Tebow to play tight end. That to me is almost like just a red herring, man. Yeah. I don't. Should the Jags be faulted for signing a guy who has failed in multiple places in Denzel Mims? Like, I don't care about the 90th spot on the roster that much. Like, that was never one I got mad at Urban Meyer. You want to bring in Tim Tebow and give him a shot at tight end as the 90th guy on the roster and make him earn it, fine.
Yeah. He was in the first wave of cuts. It's not like
exactly.
it was.
They didn't drag it out. It wasn't. Yeah. I think that is like one of the lowest bar criticisms you can have. Infamously stayed behind in Ohio and was spotted dancing with a woman who's not his wife. Dancing is one way of putting it. Hey, where are those hands? The breaking point came when Josh Lambo revealed Meyer kicked him in the leg. Well, it's so absurd, right? The bottom line of this whole damn thing.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, the thing that I cannot get over is the amount of people who knew better, who just got blinded to the fact that Urban Meyer won some championships in college. He was a scumbag. He was always a scumbag. You knew he was a scumbag. He brought the scumbag with him.
Yeah.
And to think it was going to be any different, people who knew better, who covered him directly on this station, telling you, oh, you wait and see when Urban gets in here. Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of Kool-Aid are you drinking to think that was going to be a good move?
I agree with Urban.
That he was exactly the opposite guy that Urban was, in my mind, is the reason Gus Bradley didn't even on the 10. Because when I saw the article there on the website and they had the picture of Urban to lead, I was like, oh, they're going to have Urban high right on this list. I didn't know where, but he was going to be high on the list, and they wind up having him at 1. And once I saw that he was at 1, I was like, do the Jags have 2 of the 10 worst hires of all time? Because Gus Bradley is arguably in that list.
Just
right?
in terms of performance.
Right.
Terrible.
But he's a good enough guy that I don't think he lands on that list. I do think that saves him to some degree.
And the roster was horse poop for the beginning of his tenure.
Right. I'm not saying that I have a big discrepancy. Well, he should be above this guy or this guy on that kind of thing. But as we were talking about when Gus was getting to the end of his tenure here, it's like he is having the worst run in NFL history as a head coach. That's what the Jags had, right? And it was hard to dislike Gus. He's such a good dude.
I still love Gus.
Right. I still like Gus.
I don't like the performance that he gave, but I think Gus Bradley showed up with the intent to get the best out of his players every single day, and
he's worthy.
Wasn't able to do it.
Right. His tenure as the head coach here in Jacksonville is worthy of being on this list of the worst coaches of all time, and they already have the number 1 guy. And that's 2 of their last 4 coaches.
Okay, so who was the Jags offensive coordinator for Trevor's rookie season?
Oh, it wasn't Nate.
No, but who was the from the Jags pipeline? Nathaniel Hackett.
Nate Hackett.
Right?
Yeah.
Gets hired by the Denver Broncos in 2022. They rank him as the 2nd worst coaching hire in the history of the National Football League. So we've got tentacles
all over the place.
Over the damn place.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson just had to walk upright and chew gum to be seen in a much better light. The fact that he's carrying a Lombardi trophy with him as he comes into Jacksonville and granted, they haven't been 13-4, but consecutive winning records for this franchise is significant for the first time in a long time.
They were the worst team in football. I mean, there's no argument about it.
No question.
They were the worst team in football when Doug got here. They made the playoffs.
Right. They were the worst team in football 2 years running.
Right.
When he got here.
It is remarkable what Doug has done in the 2 years he's been here. And we've pointed out, it's been a long time since the Jags have had a winning season in 2 consecutive years. It's been a long time. And I'm very much expecting that they're about to make it 3. In fact, I'd be really upset if they don't. Here in 2024, make it 3 winning seasons in a row.
All right. We move on. We'll come back. We'll take a look at breakout candidates on the offensive side of the ball.
By the way, I
for
did
the Jags.
see a couple of people on the text line because we had mentioned Urban Miller's name that way. Early on in the show this morning, they were like, what's this Urban Miller thing? Apparently, they haven't been with us the whole time.
Yeah, that's all right.
It was fun to explain it to them. It's like, that's the name for the guy who doesn't know anyone's name.
Right.
I'm just sorry we're in this situation.
Right. And both the ones that I explained it to were like, oh, that's great.
Right. And it was somebody who called in and referred to him as Urban Miller, and we didn't honestly know whether he was kind of
playing around or
playing on the fact that he
Yeah.
got names wrong, or he just got the name wrong. Right. Either way, it's the perfect
Roy Roberts.
The perfect thing to weigh in on. Here we go. This is the most ignorant group of non-athletes to ever speak on sports. Hey, listen, you urban apologist, all right? Go be a fan of wherever the hell he's hanging his hat on, Fox Sports or whatever. If you think Urban Meyer in any way was qualified to be a head coach in the NFL, then I'm thinking you're one of the most ignorant sports radio listeners, and maybe you need a timeout.
You saw him do it. He was pathetic at it.
We'll come back. 641-1010 if you want to weigh in. We'll take a look at the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, which is looking for a breakout candidate on the offensive side of the ball. We'll do that next. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You want to drop those sticky last 10, 20, 50, 100 pounds, whatever the case may be, or maybe you've lost that weight in the past, but you've somehow found it again, right? A lot of us do that when we lose weight. It just comes right back on. Well, that's, to me, the beauty of Awaken 180. A lot of places can help you lose weight. Can they help you maintain that weight loss and live a healthy lifestyle beyond that period of time when you're in weight loss mode? Well, it's worked amazingly for me. I lost pounds with Awaken 180 last September, and I've been able to keep that weight off. So has Matt Hayes, so has Hacker. We've lost a ton between us. You can be the next Awaken 180 success story. And when I say the next, they have over 21,000 satisfied customers with over 98% satisfaction rating. Everyone I know personally who's tried Awaken 180 has had success. You could be next. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or schedule your free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
Jaguars Today.
From the JOI studios at 1010XL.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Jags. Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. One-on-one interviews with players, practice footage, podcasts, and more. If you're looking for the best Big Cat coverage around, look no further. 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Why Arlington Toyota? All right, you've got to hear. Just drive to their lot and you will see that Arlington has a huge selection of new vehicles in stock in one location. No more driving around trying to figure out what you want. Arlington has it. And every new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty, unlimited time and miles. Plus, you now get 60 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and Arlington's Credit Helper program to help get you financed. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
Enjoy the thrill of the grill at John Smith Subs, with specialty subs like the Steak Bomb, the Gator, plus a full lineup of cold and hot deli subs, including the best Cuban and Duval. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs on Hodges and JTB.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents.
So you gotta up your game.
Plus, better ways to train as B3 Better brings you the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
Who won the very first Stanley Cup in hockey? The answer coming up.
We all know that saving money on items like homeowners insurance can be done. Ask your agent about the new Southern Oak Insurance deductible options. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Montreal Hockey Club defeated the Ottawa Hockey Club in 1894 and won the very first Stanley Cup.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332, go to flyskylife.com, and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, and equal opportunity employer.
My weekend plans were already looking good, but now they're looking pretty epic thanks to the deals at Kohl's. I just saved on great summer essentials, like shorts for my whole family at $16.99 and some cute dresses for 40% off. I also saved up to 85% off clearance after an extra 50% off. And with their Buy More, Save More offer, I saved $10 when I spent $50. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So take it from me. You need to get to Kohl's for epic deals ASAP. Select styles. Offers end June 23rd. Extra 50% off clearance valid through June 25th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Am I in a time loop? Did we not just come back with this a minute ago, or were we listening to this on a break, Pockets?
Let's do it on break.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's in my head. I was like, wow. Feel like I just heard this
Deja
song
vu.
a minute ago. I would die for you, Pockets. Under the right circumstances. All right. Pockets tells us we have shrimp tickets, right? Jumbo shrimp tickets for next week?
Four of them to any game this season. Come hang out at 1010 Shrimp Day on Wednesday, June 26th.
So next Wednesday, Helmets and Heels will be broadcasting live out there. It's a matinee, but you don't have to use the tickets for that day. 4-pack of tickets in honor of Trevor's contract. We'll take caller number 275. No. We'll take caller 4.
Funny.
All right, 1 for each ticket at 641-1010. If you want those tickets, all you have to do is call up Dylan and be the 4th caller, and he will grace you with that 4-pack of tickets coming up. All right, Dylan, in the meantime, as you get ready to screen these calls, why don't you set me up, if you would?
10-10 Take. Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take, brought to you by Leonard Truck Accessories.
All right, Tone, let's do this in kind of a two-way fashion here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree that Trevor Lawrence is the breakout player on offense in 2024?
Easily,
right? Like, and some of it, is it wish casting? Maybe a little bit, right? But I feel like going into what will be his age 25 season, burden of the contract behind him, as he feels best set of weapons around him in the same offense for the 3rd year in a row, working directly with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor.
Yeah.
Got good weapons. Evan Ingram had a massive season last year. Christian Kirk is super reliable. We've got explosive hopefuls in Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis. You got Travis Etienne. And what you hope is a somewhat improved offensive line. The conditions are there, right, for Trevor to have that breakout season.
Absolutely. Yeah. Easily, as I've been saying for a while now, when Trevor Lawrence wins an MVP, it won't surprise me. That's what I see Trevor Lawrence being able to develop into. And if he plays at that kind of level this year, that wouldn't surprise me.
And oh, by the way, if he never wins one, you shouldn't be shocked either, right? It's hard to win them.
Yeah.
But I could see him being, multiple times, not just others receiving votes, which he was a couple of years ago, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
First Jaguar player in history to do that. And, of course, in the past, as we've mentioned, he used to only vote for first place. So it's a little bit different. But I could see him going on a run where over like an 8-year period, he's 3 or 4 times, he's a top 3 to 5 finisher.
Sure.
In the MVP. Now, that being said, we're hopeful that's an obvious low-hanging fruit. Beyond Trevor, who's your breakout player on offense beyond Trevor Lawrence?
That's more difficult because I do think Trevor's helped a few guys have breakout years.
Sure.
Right? Like, I do think Trevor's presence has helped ETN in the 2 years he's been on the field, and I look at his numbers. So a breakout for ETN would be, like a 1,600, 1,700
something
yard
like
year?
That, yep.
Something like that. I don't think they're going to get him the touches to allow that to be the kind of season he's going to have. So I wouldn't go that direction with it. I wouldn't pick Kirk because I think he might be a little bit better than he was 2 years ago here in Jacksonville, but I don't expect him to be way better than that season here going into this year. So for me, offensive line would be tough to pick one. So I was left with a couple of wide receivers that are joining the group and trying to determine which one of those I think is the more likely breakout candidate. I would go Gabe Davis. His best season in the NFL was 2022, had 48 catches, 836 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I think he'll be north of the first two especially.
The catch total could be very easily eclipsed.
Yeah, the catch total and the yardage total, I expect Gabe Davis to be over that this year. 7 touchdowns, that's way more volatile to predict exactly what that's going to be, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was in that kind of area this year going into 2024. If I had to pick one breakout player, it would be Gabe.
Okay, and for me, it's difficult to know, like, as that reception total increases, can he maintain that yards per catch average that he's always put up in his career? It's also difficult to know what does a breakout season look like for Brian Thomas Jr., having never played in the league. But I think we'd all agree if he came in and scored 10 touchdowns, that's a splash entry into the National Football League. So I don't have an issue with anybody putting him forth as their candidate. I actually did go with the offensive line, though. And I did specifically look at Anton Harrison and go, look, this may not be reflected in a Pro Bowl nod or all-pro consideration or anything like that. But I'm talking about the people who grade the advanced metrics on offensive line play, graded him out pretty well as a rookie last year. And, you hear Phil Rauscher talk about what he had to deal with in terms of some of the top premier pass rushers out there and things like that with a year of experience under his belt. And if the offensive line is a little bit more stabilized in the middle with Mitch Morse, I think Anton Harrison, it may not be something that's easily quantifiable because that's not usually the case with offensive linemen, but I could see him putting himself on a level where at least the people who are looking at the advanced metrics and pass block win rate and run win rate and all those things say, wow, this is a guy who's flying a little bit under the radar and has made a big improvement from year 1 to year 2 in the NFL.
Yeah, the offensive line's so difficult to get into the Pro Bowl discussion, right? Like, it's just hard, and once a guy's in there, he's in there. And every year they're going to be looked at that same kind of way. Well, this is a Pro Bowl guy now. So when I'm voting for the Pro Bowl, I vote for my guy and I vote for the guy who's the Pro Bowler, right? Like, that's what it feels like. It happens to me way more on offensive line than a bunch of these other positions. I would say if Anton Harrison is a Pro Bowler in 2024, the Jags have won at least 13 games. That's what I think it would take for Anton to be looked at by the public as, well, he's on the best team in the AFC, playing tackle for the best team in the AFC. Like, I think that's how he gets the Pro Bowl recognition. I'd be curious to see, like, the All-Pro discussion stuff, what kind of year he would need to have for that to be more of where he would talk. We talked about this with Foye last year, right? I think he was playing at an All-Pro consideration kind of level. I never thought he would get serious Pro Bowl looks because he's just not on a team that's going to get a bunch of that unless they're winning a ton.
And you've got a lot of guys at his spot that are kind of grandfathered in.
Right.
Like you said, it's for whatever reason, Foye just goes out there and leads the league in tackles. He adds to his explosive plays a little bit every year seemingly, and just kind of ho-hum goes along. And that's the way it is sometimes. Some of it, is it the market? Maybe. Is it the fact that the Jags are not, like, head and shoulders above the pack? Yeah, that's part of it. Oh, there's a lot of things that go into it. In the end, it doesn't really matter all that much. It matters to these players, obviously, in terms of getting recognition, and I'm sure it matters to some fans to make sure that their team is getting the kind of recognition that they're deserving of. But in the end, man, if your offensive line's playing well, I don't care if they feel like you're doing it with smoke and mirrors, and that nobody's getting that individual standout recognition. It's a lot easier, obviously, to follow the ball. You look at receivers' numbers, you compare them side by side, and that's basically where your Pro Bowl vote is going to go. Who's got the most gaudy statistics? It's more difficult to come up with those kind of numbers for a guy like Anton Harrison or any offensive lineman.
Yeah, it's more difficult. And as we were discussing during a break earlier, I do think it comes down to how effective is the offense in general. That'll give you an idea. The offensive line certainly isn't hurting them, right? If the offense is going in a good direction, then the offensive line is certainly not getting in the way. And I don't think it's unfair to look at that as a breakout kind of point for the offensive line going into this year, because they did get in the way. Last year, the offensive line got in the way. In 2022, I didn't think the offensive line was great. It just didn't hurt them, what they were doing up front. And so the offense was productive basically through that whole run at the end of the year. Last year, they didn't get that. And if the offensive line had just been a little bit better, as I've talked about since we started talking about this going into the offseason, I don't think you have to be great at center to be great on the offensive line. I think you have to be okay.
You have to be, right. You can't have glaring holes on the offensive line.
And it feels like with Mitch Morse coming in, they have the opportunity to get back to just being at least okay at the center position on the offensive line. We'll see what that means for Sheriff, who has shown, look, he's been an all-pro caliber player at times in his career. He hadn't been that the last 2 years in Jacksonville. And this may be it, for Sheriff with his opportunity to be a starting right guard in the league. This may be it, so we'll see what that looks like for him this year. But he's an accomplished player, the most accomplished player that they have on the line. Mitch Morse, the only other Pro Bowler they have up there.
Overwhelmingly, people voted or named Trevor Lawrence as their most likely breakout candidate on offense. But some love given to Gabe Davis, some love given to Brian Thomas, some given to Tank Bigsby, some given to Parker Washington, some given to Anton Harrison. I think I hit most of the ones that I saw coming in. I don't think I left anybody out, but I would say like 80% we're going down the Trevor Lawrence road. And quite frankly, let's hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
He needs to be not only a breakout player, but your best player clearly if you're going to accomplish all your goals. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a year where you're not your best at the quarterback position. You know, Trevor Lawrence didn't have his best season. It doesn't mean they can't go on a deep playoff run, for instance. But that's what he's going to get judged on. Wins and losses, how deep they get in the playoffs, statistical performance is part of that, to be sure. But a lot of people anticipating and expecting that big breakout now that the contract is firmly in place. Dylan, let's wrap it up.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
I mean, really, once again, as has been the theme for most of the week, the focus on Trevor Lawrence today with the press conference. And look, there was nothing groundbreaking or earth-shattering that he had to say. But to me, I was struck just by the fact that how times have changed in just a few years, that we've got a guy that we all marveled at in terms of his potential coming into the league, signing his second deal with the Jags, talking about this being a franchise that he wants to grow with, the fact that he loves Jacksonville, much like the way Josh Allen has expressed those same sentiments all throughout his career. To have those two pillars now locked in. Hear Trevor talk about the state of this roster, feeling it's clearly the best at this stage of the offseason that he's seen in his time in Jacksonville, and the chance, as we realize, to grow in another year in the Doug Peterson offense. A lot of signs pointing in that direction towards maybe that breakout absolutely coming. Jags pick up Denzel Mims to kick the tires on. It's that kind of off-season move that you make. Take a chance on a guy with athletic talent. I wouldn't expect much. In fact, I would bet against Mims making the final roster here, but at least he'll have the opportunity here in Jacksonville to get that done. So glad we could bring you the Trevor presser today. I'm sure there'll be more fallout from that coming up on Helmets and Heels, so stick around. Dylan was able to give away a 4-pack of tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp to use at that person's leisure throughout the remainder of the home schedule. So we may have more for you before the week is out. Tommy Mack coming in tomorrow to join us on the program. So I haven't been in the same airspace as Tom in a little while,
For a
man.
while, yeah.
You know, generally been doing the show from the house on those Fridays. But all right, we'll put this all to bed today. Thanks again to the folks over at Jaguars.com helping facilitate that press conference coverage for you here on 1010XL. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Back again tomorrow with Tom McManus from 10 to noon with more Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.